Yo, what up guys? Great news! Today we are going to test one of the most popular and probably the most profitable abyss farming strategy out there. We're gonna be discussing about the initial investment, how to get the required tablets, how much do they cost, the waystones, and we're gonna showcase the entire footage for the process, including the 10 map samples for the farming part, and finally at the end of the video we're gonna show a profit breakdown. We are gonna sell all the loot that we've found and see how much divine profit we're making with this strategy. It's the Jado one with the 8 mods, corrupted waystones. You've probably already heard about it this far into the league. Some of you guys have recommended it into the comment section for my other abyss farming videos on my channel, and I actually haven't tried it out myself so far, but we're gonna be putting it to the test today and in another long ass video about the uncut footage for the farming strategy and the entire process. So we are gonna see live how this works out, how much value can we extract from this, and what's the breaking point. Is it simpler? Is it cheaper than other farming strategies for the abyss? Let's find out. So firstly, I'm gonna be showing you the whole setup here. So we're using Jado as the Atlas Master. The unexpected missions is one of the key points here, because the corrupted waystones we are using give us an additional one random modifier, and yeah, this also corrupts the map in a way that some layouts might differ from the one that we actually get on the Atlas, so keep that in mind. The other point here, which is not actually related and not contributing to the farming strategy itself, is unforeseen threats. Not quite what we are expecting for the farming strategy, but this also can help us out if we want to later farm other types of maps, like anomaly maps, which gives us the lineage support gems that sell for a lot. And another good point here, so these are the two ones that are of interest, is partial translation, which randomly gains between 0 and 40% increase effect of explicit modifiers on tablets. This is why we are actually using corrupted waystones and using the ones with 8 modifiers, which is the maximum number of modifiers due to the corruption. We are also using the waystones with 103% increased monster rarity at least, and item rarity and pack size and other good stuff for the waystones. And another key point here would be keen appraisal, because we increase the exceptional items we can find. The other two here are not all that good for the strategy, but the main ones are unexpected missions and partial translations. The rest is up to you. This is for the Jado setup, and keep in mind we are using 3 abyss tablets, and then we are using a 4th unique abyss tablet, the unforeseen consequences, with 16 additional abyss pits spawning in the area. This is the version I'm gonna test today. There's another version out there where you use 4 regular abyss tablets, but there's a small variety here. If you are using the unique one, you can opt for the point here with the 10% increase effectiveness for each closed pit, and you don't actually need the first option, which is scattered throughout the area with abysses. So if you are using the unique one as a 4th tablet, you can select the increased effectiveness here. If you are using 4 regular abyss tablets, you have to get the 4th one with the increased effectiveness for each closed pit effect on the tablet. But we are gonna try the version with the unique abyss tablet, unforeseen consequences, so that's why we're getting the effectiveness on our atlas. So let me quickly show you what a waystone looks like with the 8 mods on it. So it has 4 suffixes and 4 prefixes. It has 103 rarity and some item rarity and some pack size. These tablets can get a bit expensive, but don't worry, we are gonna show the initial investment so that the profit makes sense in the end. I've actually bought these 3 off the market for 2 divines. Depends on the time you are trying to find them. So if you have time and plan out this type of farm, you can periodically check the market for these waystones. And for the tablets themselves, you can get them at a lower price. For today's video, we are gonna live buy them off the market, so the prices might actually be a bit higher because we don't have all the extra time to spot them on the market when they are quick selling for lower costs. So now for the first tablet, the Abyss tablet, we are looking for increased rare monsters. 34, 35 doesn't really matter if it's unperfect roll. The uses that you want to have are 10 uses remaining, and of course you need the increased chance for abyssal monsters in maps to have abyssal modifiers. I would say this actually works starting from 27%. The maximum range is 30%, but for today's video let's push it up a little to at least 29%. And the third good stat that you are looking for here is increased monster rarity, but you can also get variants with increased rarity of items found depending on the cost that you're willing to pay. Let's find out how much this one costs. So it's around 30 divines per Abyss tablet with 10 uses, and let's quickly check the variant with increased item rarity. Okay, so this should work out. Let's see. So if you are looking just for the increased rarity, as many of you guys well know, this strategy also works because we are looking for Abyss monsters which drop Omen of Lights. So Omen of Lights are actually tied together with the increased rarity in a map on the items that you got. So the higher the rarity find, the higher the chances are you drop the Omen of Light. But still, if you increase the number of rare monsters and the monster rarity, you have many upgrades for the numbers of rare monsters which have higher chance by volume to drop the Omen of Light. So you can actually do a combo of these item rarity find or increase monster rarity. Depending on which is your initial investment plan, you can combine them. So let's quickly get one with increased rarity. So let's see, 29%, this is actually quite good. 35% increase rare monsters and 16 increased rarity. With these options, I can see that this tablet is actually a good buy for 30 divines. So we're grabbing one of these. Let's quickly check if we can get another good tablet here. So this one is actually pretty similar. If you look at it, it has 29 chance increase, 23. This can actually work as well, but we actually have a better chance here because the fourth modifier is increased chance to lead to abyssal depths. This might actually give us another abyssal depths instead of something else in the 10 map samples, which would be great because we also farm Omen of Lights in the abyssal depths. So let's grab this one.
We have visitors.
Another 30 divines, so it's 60 up till now.
Forgive us, Master.
another quick mention here, if you are looking to buy 4 Abyss tablets, on the 4th one where you get increased effectiveness with each closed pit, you should also grab the modifier chance to contain additional 4 abysses on the map. That's pretty good if you don't use the unforeseen consequences, which guarantees you have 16 additional abysses. So it's not of interest for this video, but I'm just mentioning it because you guys might want to vary the strat here. So let's also see if we can get one with increased rarity and what's the price on those. So if it has at least 10% increased rarity, I think it's around 22 or 23 divines, which is actually not a bad price here. It's a good good order here. Yeah, we can grab this one, let's say, with 11% increased rarity for just 23 divines. It has 35 perfect roll for increased number of rare monsters, and indeed it has also the chance to lead to an additional abyss. So I think this one is actually good. We can stack different modifiers here, but the main ones are chance to have additional abyssal modifiers for the abyss monsters. All 3 tablets must contain this modifier. The 35 increased number of rare monsters is absolutely mandatory, or 44, doesn't really matter for 1%. And if you can grab the monster rarity ones, which are a bit pricier, around 30 divines, that's cool. But if you want to mix it up and also add the rarity of items found in map, that's also great. We can actually make different tests, but for today's purpose, let's just grab the mixed version. And we have the 3 abyss tablets here. Now we also use an unforeseen consequence tablet with 16 additional modifiers. We can quickly price check this one. So let's add additional abysses. And let's make it 16. So it's around 100 and 1100 exalts. Let me quick check how many exalts are for one device. So 378. So that means around 3 divines per abyssal tablet. But if we change the filters here and force it to divine, let's see if we can find it. No, it's just 3 divines. So yeah, the prices have gone up lately for the abyss farm. It used to be lower than this, but that's okay. We can actually get some of these tablets and farm them. So around 3 divines per abyss unique tablet. That makes around 30 divines for the 10 map samples, just the uniques, and around 80 divines or 82 divines for the rest of the tablets. So that's 110 divines initial investment for the tablets themselves. And maybe the Waystones, you can grab them at 2 divines per Waystone, and you can actually farm them while you find these type of tablets. So 103 rarity, 100 drop chance, that's not of interest here, but item rarity is 25% and pack size is 9%. That's a good roll. 18 modifiers, that's what we're looking for. So let's continue on to the farming part. I'll actually make these tablets go away because I was farming the other abyss farming strategy, or the delirium one. Oh, almost destroyed it. No, 30 divines. Okay, let's get the simulacrum cells here and drop them in the currency tab so they don't. Okay, so this is the initial setup for the farming part, and now I have already targeted some city areas. As you are probably used to, we are targeting Val City areas with 200% delirium on top, so that's maximum juice for the city maps. In the city maps we are inserting the 4 tablets here and the Waystone which is around 2 or 3 divines depending on the moment of market price which you actually hunt along the game. But we are going to buy some of these as well. Let's see if we can find them for 2 divines, but the main setup is this one. We are going to profit breakdown at the end of the video how much this actually costs and how much profit we are making using this strategy. Let's jump into the first map. There are plenty and plenty of combinations and stats here for the Abyss farm, which for me personally is the most fun one in the entire league. I've actually never tried the expedition so far because the expedition farm is quite demanding for your build, and I'm looking to farm a bit more to upgrade some of the gear that I've been using since first month of the game. So I don't have a mirror tier build, I just have a bow that's 40, or maybe no, not 40, 400 divines. So first divine drop here. This build is actually quite easy to put together if you are playing like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 3-4 hours a day. You can actually farm up to this point and get this build at this let's say level and items. So I have 144 item rarity stacked on my gear. That's another cool stat, which in time might ensure we drop more Omen of Lights. So that's the main focus of our farm, Omen of Lights, nothing else. If divines drop, that's even better, but we are focusing on finding the Omen of Lights. Hopefully they drop. It's a bit of an RNG process here, and we are just using a live sample of nearly 10 maps, so that's not a huge sample for the test, but it's still telling of what quantity of Omen of Lights we can actually drop. I've killed that Abyss monster inside the cloud by mistake, so potentially missed an Omen drop right there. You have to be careful because I'm using, let's say, a build which centers around headhunters, and while you are using the headhunter, the modifiers that you steal from the rare monsters sometimes grant you the ability to spawn next to the enemy, and that throws you around the map. And when the abyss monsters are spawning from the abyssal pit inside the dark cloud, the headhunter will actually throw you near the abyss monster, and if you are auto attacking like I am, you can actually kill it by mistake and miss out on some Omen drops, which is not ideal. It happens to me sometimes. I try to avoid it, but for the purpose of farming and showing you guys how it goes, I'm trying to also compensate the fact that I'm speaking and losing some focus and clear speed by just clicking and clicking without thinking, and this actually throws my farm a bit off because I'm killing the abyss monsters by mistake, and that's lesser chances of dropping the Omen of Lights. Hopefully I can get it together and not do so many mistakes. The difficulty level here is also quite high, but not as high as other abyss farming strategies that I've already shown you. So this is more accessible for a larger, let's say, group of players out there which don't actually invest mirrors into their builds because they don't have those. So if you have a decent build for the end game, this strategy is actually quite accessible. Omen of Light, the first Omen of Light drops here. So the first map we actually got one Omen of Light and a few divines, summon all. We are actually collecting the splinters. As I've previously mentioned in other farming videos that I've put out there on my channel, the splinter farm might seem underwhelming and not worth it, but when you come back to the 10 map sample and you see that you have been farming like 7 or 8 or 9 simulacrums, those actually translate into at least 3 divines per simulacrum, and the total cost there might actually rise to maybe 25 or 30 divines per profit breakdown inside the 10 map sample, so that's quite a lot. It's not negligible. I advise you guys to pick up those splinters. It might actually take you more to clear the map if you look for every splinter and every drop and try to click it, but it's no problem. It's not necessarily a slowing factor if you get used to it, and if you are not focused on something else, you'll gain the reflex to actually pick them up, and that will work fine in the end. So I think this part of the map is actually cleared. We just have this abyss pit remaining. So you can see if you are using the increased chance for abyssal monsters to have abyssal modifiers, they actually spawn quite often with the Manamu option that we are selecting in our atlas, and the omen drops one is quite important as well. So just pick up Amanamu influence, pick up the omen drops, and then use the increased effectiveness for each closed pit inside your atlas. So that's the preset up for the variant with the unique unforeseen consequence tablet. We've been getting some divine drops and chaos drops. That's good raw currency, which might actually translate into a huge chunk of our profit at the end of the 10 map sample, but still our main focus here is Omen of Light drops, so that's our priority. It's a good thing that we also have a modifier which might increase our chances to go to the Abyssal Depths. That's a great area to get Omen of Lights. A lot of monsters there actually have modifiers now, starting from 0.5.d, I guess. That was the patch which fixed the bug where the Omen of Light was not dropping all that often inside the Abyssal Depths because the modifiers on your Waystones and tablets were not translated into the deeper layer of Abyssal Depths. Now there is this correlation, and the monsters there also get mega juiced, and they are a lot. So if we get lucky in these 10 map samples to get at least, let's say, 2 or 3 Abyssal Depths, that would be great, because it will guarantee maybe 1 drop per Abyssal Depths of Omen of Light. That's the average there, but it's still an RNG game, so you might see none sometimes and you might see 1 or 2 other times. That's what I'm saying here. The 10 map sample is not actually final and very exact. It's a good indicator, but you need to farm more 10 map samples up to 100 to get a better feel of the drop chance regarding the Omen of Lights inside the Abyssal Depths and outside here on the map. I think another thing was, oh, another Omen of Light. Oh my god, we also found another Omen of Light, so there's 2 Omen of Lights with the first map. How about that, guys? This strategy actually pans out because it's crazy for the Omen of Light drops. The initial investment, yeah, I'll give you that. It's a higher point for the initial investment. It might actually rise to 130 divines. We'll make all the exact calculations at the end of the video for your breakdown, so you can actually see step by step how many divines you're putting into this, how many Omen of Lights you're dropping, how much do they cost when you sell them, and what's the net profit for this entire strategy. I'm not cutting out anything from the video end to end, from point zero to the final point of the video where we are selling every item which we find. You're gonna see it all here. You can actually skip some of the parts because I'm gonna include chapters for each map. Will have its own chapter, and the final breakdown for the profit will be a separate chapter. So if you don't actually want to watch a long ass video for 3 hours or something like that, and you don't mind it somewhere in the background or leaving it on the TV screen while you're doing something else, maybe cleaning the dishes or something like that, if you're not looking to just listen to the commentary, you can simply click through the video at the desired chapter and see the entire footage for the drops, for the maps, for the profit breakdown. It will all be in one shot, one video, no cuts, so you can see guaranteed without any other speculation or things like that, which is the exact process, the exact profit, and you can trust this, let's say, strategy, because I'm not trying to make you think that it drops more than it does. We'll find out together. I actually didn't farm this strategy itself like this, so this is the first time I'm testing with you guys the base setup as we are progressing throughout the 10 maps. So let's find out together how profitable can this strategy get, how lucky can we get, because luck is an important factor. Some splinters here, we'll pick up those drops later. Let's clear out the section here because we might get overwhelmed. The main important thing here for my build, the Deadeye Ranger build, is the fact that I'm actually getting to a 70% evasion rating on my gear. So that's 23k evasion, raw evasion from my atlas and gear, which is comfortably enough because many of the hits actually miss me, so I can move around easily and collect loot or stay clear of potential, let's say, harmful explosions and stuff like that, because evasion applies to all types of hits. It's quite stable, quite easy, so if you're looking for a build which can feel safe, feel nice, you can actually look at my Deadeye crit build video on my channel. I have the guide right there. You can replicate this build without that much cost. It's just around maybe 1.5k divines. So yeah, it's not the entry level for the starting end game, but it's still not a 5 mirror build as you see for the most part on the experts out there, the popular streamers which actually reach that point by playing 90 hours a day each day. So we finished the first map. These were the drops. As you can see, we got 2 Omen of Lights here, 6 Divines, 1 Annul, and some other stuff. Let's go back and stash these away. So let's use the first tab here for the important stuff. So Omen of Lights, Divines, Annuls, some Chaos, which actually means some part of the profit, and maybe the Perfect Jeweler's Orb. Let's say that should be worth something. I won't actually stash Exalts here or other currencies. These are considered extra. We are not counting those, so keep that in mind. We are just counting the heavy stuff, the super expensive stuff, and the other stuff we are just stashing in different tabs, so the profit might be actually a bit higher, but we are not looking into that. This actually sells for 1 chaos. Maybe I'll put it up here. 1 chaos is 1 chaos, boys.
I'm sure someone will want
Okay, so for the rest of the items here, let's quickly check. No, I'm not using these. Let's just sell them. Waystones, no interest if they are not with high monster rarity. I have a bunch of those. So the tablet, we are gonna put it in a separate tab here, not counting that as well. You can actually farm quite a lot of tablets and then roll them to see if they are worth any divines, but the profit from the first map is just shown here. And let's continue to the second map. Let's quickly check before that, let's quickly check some Waystones. Maybe we can snatch some Waystones which meet our criteria. So how do you search for these Waystones? You just type in the Waystone tier 15. The endgame filter here, you need monster rarity at least 103. And you also have this tab here where you can select corrupt as being yes. And the final tab here with the stats, you will select pseudo modifiers at least 8. So for this trade, you will search like this, and you will find out that the first pricing here are listed in Exalt. So this actually means around 4 divines equivalent, but if you select divine as buyout price and you search again, you will find that they start from 3 divines, so it's actually cheaper to buy these Waystones using divine as currency rather than using exalted orb. And if you are refreshing this search now and again, each map after each map, and you're just searching for the Waystones, you can get lucky and find some of these Waystones with just 2 divine cost, and that will be our entry point for the maps. The ones that I have here already in my stash, I actually bought them for 2 divines a piece, and you can see they have 103 monster rarity and some item rarity as well, and some pack size, which is great. And also each of them have 8 modifiers, which is exactly what we need for the Jado strategy. Let me quickly show you before getting into the second map. Also, another important stat here, you might actually need to see this because my item rarity is around 144%, which is quite high. You ideally have to be somewhere in the range for 100, maybe up to 150%. That's the ideal range. Besides this range, let's say after 150%, the curve of the profit will actually drop, so you will reach diminishing return point. That's why I'm not pushing even further. 144% is actually quite comfortable and it's not that hard to get. Let's see the second map, which is okay. So I think we actually have to reach through this map to get to this map, because the unique map here will not allow us to use 4 tablets and any tablets in fact. So let's see if we have a different spot here, because they are not linked together, but we can jump to other Val target areas because I have a bunch of them. Let's see the target area 3 here. Just for the purpose of this video, I have 1, 2, 3 maps spotted here with Delirious on top of them, which actually remain usable. So let's check this one out. Okay, second map, I forgot the unforeseen tablet. Let's put that in as well. So I was targeting this Val temple. You can also use Doriani when you are targeting the Sun temples, because they have a really good layout, but I'll be discussing about Doriani setup in another video. For the sake of this video, let's continue with Jado and the Waystone here. Let's jump into the second map, guys. Fingers crossed for the Omen drops. The Omen of Light is the best drop in the game, in my opinion. It's so rewarding and satisfying to see that Omen of Light drop. It's around 14 divines a piece at the current market price. You can actually sell them. I've sold a lot for 14 divines. If you want to quick sell them, actually you can maybe sell them for 13 divines. Still a great profit point. 13 to 14 divines. Mostly, I'll give you a quick tip here. If you want to sell them at a higher price, maybe target the weekend area where a lot of people are more active and try to craft some high-end items and also use the Omen of Light. So the weekend area is a good spot to sell if you want to convert them into divines. And also, if another thing which you can take advantage of, if your price is around 13 divines and you're looking to sell them for a bit higher, like 13 and a half or 14, and the market price at the point where you are searching the trade is around 13, just price them a bit higher, like 13.5, and leave them overnight. I can assure you that by the next morning they will probably already sell. And with this is the name of the game here with the profits on the market. You have to be a bit patient and a bit careful when you're selling, when you're looking for something. And if you have the patience and the, let's say, luck for the intervals which are optimal, you can actually spot a good deal and actually make some profit just by converting one currency into the other or selling omens at a better deal, let's say, price wise. Bunch of uniques dropped there. We don't really care about uniques. I just want to see the Omen of Light, baby. Omen of Light. From my research, from other guys which were using methods similar to this one, so the Abyss farm with the focus on Omen of Lights using Jado and 8 modded tablets, or Waystones rather, 8 modded Waystones, the corrupted ones, and Jado as Atlas Master. The research out there shows that you might actually average at around 1 to 3 divine, not divines, but Omen of Lights per map. So some maps might get 1, some maps might get 2, some maps might actually get 3. On average, that's a good number of Omen of Lights. Let's see how our RNG luck is feeling today for these 10 map samples. We are in the second map right now and no Omen of Light drop so far. Keep in mind that for maximum efficiency in this type of farm, when you're counting on increased efficiency for each closed pit, make sure that when you encounter a abyssal pit like this one, you actually close it, so killing all the rare monsters before reaching the next one and opening that up, so that the stack of increased effectiveness actually works in your favor. I've been making some mistakes at the beginning of my farm for the Abyss because I was opening up a lot of abyssal pits without closing them, so the increase in effectiveness was not applying for the ones that I was opening in parallel. But now I'm trying just to work one at a time, open it, close it, see what I get and move on to the next one. But it doesn't work out each time because sometimes they are closer together, and when you shoot multiple projectiles like I do in my build, maybe 2 or 3 already open up and I don't get the chance to clear the rare monsters that spawn from it, and the increased effectiveness does not apply to all of them, but still doesn't really matter all that much. You just try your best and you might actually get something good. Sometimes the abyssal monsters spawn without the Amanamu modifier, so that's not very useful. It's still some chance, a good chance, but not a perfect one. So in many cases, even if you respect the criteria of closing up the pits before opening up new ones, you might get unlucky at the Amanamu influence part, and that will still move your average down. for the Omen of Light. Like these ones here, you can see no Amanamo influence. I got unlucky for the last, I don't know, 3 pits. But some of them do have the influence, some of them don't. So the first map, I think we got quite lucky. We dropped 2 Omen of Lights. The second one, I think we are a bit unlucky because we didn't drop any Omen of Light so far. And we've closed up a lot of pits. Let's try moving to this side before advancing to the right, because I think they're clustered here more, at least from what I can see on the minimap. This one didn't have influence, the other one didn't have it as well. So 2 maps, no Amanamo monsters, 2 pits, unlucky, no matter. Let's try this on, 1 out. Okay, so this is also without the Amanamo influence. You can hover over with the mouse button on top of the rare abyss spawns, and you can see if the Amanamo is there. And also you can visually spot it because the Amanamo monsters spawn that dark cloud around them quite fast, and if it's not there, it's not there. This one has it, you can see the cloud, multiple clouds, so a bunch of them there. Maybe we can get lucky at this group. Nope, Sinistral Necromancy, that's rather common. But we have another one left here. Still unlucky Necromancy, but maybe the third one and final one. Nope, the same one, see? 3 monsters, no good drops, many pits which didn't spawn Amanamo, even though we have that on literally every tablet. It's still RNG, nothing is guaranteed, but in the end it evens out. This one doesn't have influence. It's still satisfying and rewarding. The playstyle for this strategy for the Abyss, I think it's one of the best gameplay styles from the entire league. It's better than Breach, it's better than Ritual, which is actually quite unpleasant. I think it's better than Expedition from a playstyle point of view. Maybe Expedition, the Grand Expedition using the Elder Saga might be as profitable or even more profitable than this strategy, but it requires a higher entry point for the build. It requires higher survivability, higher DPS. It's not all that accessible to every player, but the Abyss always works out. It's always nice to clear maps, to get a screen of monsters dropping at the same time, and if we are lucky we can see those Omen drops, maybe some Divine drops depending on the map. For me, so far this league, 90% of the endgame part revolves around Abyss strategies, and I didn't get bored after 2 months of gameplay. So yeah, that's why I'm actually recommending these strategies, because it's not all about just the profit. It's still a game which deserves to be enjoyed. And the Abyss is quite spectacular, depending on your build as well. I think the most fun build, which I don't have the economy for, would be the Temporalist Spark Mage with cast on critical and cast on elemental something something. That build is insanely fast, it jumps around the map and clears with an insane speed and high output of DPS with those sparks, which reach over 1 million DPS per spark, which is actually insane because it fills up the entire screen, dropping everything in sight in just a matter of fractions of seconds, not even seconds. And the fact that it is a high mobility build with the temporalis investment, that's quite cool, but few players actually reach that level of farm inside the league, so they can afford that level of investment into a build like that. It's quite fun, it's fast, but it's quite unrealistic at this point. If you're actually good at crafting items at the start of the league, you can actually get some profit rolling and maybe invest into some Hinakora's locks or whatever they are called, and then invest into mirrors and wait for the mirrors to become extremely expensive, like 5k divines, and then you can convert the mirrors back to divines and actually gear up a build such as that one with temporalis and all the good stuff. But as I was saying, not many players reach that point. Now, I think I got a bit lost. I have to go to the upper side of the map, upper right side maybe, because I think we have some abyss pits left, and finally do the map boss and close the area. The map boss is right here, but let's firstly close all the pits. Maybe we actually, I think this is the last one, maybe. Yep, it was the last one. No amount of influence, no amount of light drops this map, no abyssal deaths, so it was a bit unlucky, but we still got 2 amount of lights for the first map. Maybe we'll get some more in the third one. So the map is complete. Let's see what profit are we making from this run. So we got 2 divines, 2 echoes, 1 heart of the well. I'm not sure if that's worth anything right now. Some splinter drops, 12 chaos. Is this worth anything? The twilight key? No. Not really. Liquid despair? Not really. Okay, so the other stuff I'm gonna stash away in a different tab. So the currencies here. The abyssal currencies there. All the tablets, a lot of tablets dropped here in the second tab. That's about it. The rest of them are going to the trash, or rather to the merchant here.
What should I do with this?
Just selling those. Let's quickly check if we have another waystone option here at 2 divines. Not yet. We still have an extra one which we can use. So let's go to the Val City, the assembly here. Still forgetting the unforeseen consequence tablet. Let's put that in, and let's start the map with number 3. Sometimes it's better if you're using the Deadeye ice shot build to line up the monsters and maybe throw in a tornado shot in front of them and then just hit them with ice shot, because the ice shards will hit the tornado and split, and that will create a good compounded effect and increase your DPS by quite a lot if you have the time and focus to press that many buttons. I rarely do, but when I remember that I have tornado shot at my disposal and line up. Oh, 2 divines. That was in quick succession. 2 divines in maybe 10 seconds. Still no Omen of Lights, but divines are cool when they think. Abyssal Echoes, come on. Give me some lights, man. We have to drop some Omen of Lights this map. None for the second map, so that's a bummer. A third divine, okay. Okay, let's see if the luck only sticks to the divines, or we can also get maybe at least 1 Omen of Light. That would be fine, I guess. Or maybe the chance to go to the Abyssal Depths. That will also be cool. Okay, so some Simulacrum Splinters. Pick those up. Chaos Simulacrums. Good stuff. For the big price, we are still looking for those Omen of Lights. None to be found. It's still, I think, using Jado as a strategy with his corruption methods from those 2 points I was mentioning earlier. The fact that it changes the layout for the map, that's still downsized, let's say, because some of the layouts here are actually quite bad, and if you get some abyss pits scattered in some tight areas, I think somewhere along the road the abyss mechanic bugs, and you actually spawn less rare monsters than you would on the Sun Temple, let's say, or other cool layouts, Val Cities. So that's why I've been actually using Hilda for the Abyss farm, because it doesn't actually change the layout for the map. What you see is what you get. When you're using the Sun Temple layout, it actually works out because it's Sun Temple. You can switch between the Atlas Masters at your own discretion, so if you are hating the part that the Sun Temples are getting converted to different types of maps using Jado, for those maps specifically you can actually rely on Hilda, or you can also, if you are, Hilda requires you to use different types of tablets, so if you are using this strategy with just the same types of Abyss tablets, Hilda won't get you much of an advantage, so you can actually rely on different Atlas Master. Doriani, as I was mentioning, he has some cool stuff going on for the Sun Temple maps. I think, is that a divine or maybe a Omen of Light? Let's find out. Oh, so much Simulacrum. I like Simulacrum Splinters. I really do enjoy them. It might not seem that much, but Abyss tablet. Oh, it's an unforeseen consequence tablet. That's interesting. So as I was saying about the Splinters, some of you guys have actually asked me in the comment section for the other Abyss farm videos. Well, you're counting the Abyss drops and the currency drop inside those maps, but you are not telling us that you are actually spending a lot of time setting up those maps with the city biomes and 200% delirium on top of them. Actually, I do have a video which explains in detail what's the comparison for the pre-setup and multiple Abyss farming strategy setups, and you will be surprised if you are using 3 delirium tablets for the maps that have no potential value, let's say, just the traveling nodes on your atlas. If you are using 3 delirium tablets, which are quite inexpensive, you can grab them for maybe 10 to 15 divines. You need to ensure that they have monster rarity, like over 30% monster rarity, and also one of 2 mods, either 2 tablets with increased stack size of simulacrum splinters and 1 with increased chance to spawn mirror shards inside delirium fog. So if you get a combination of those, like 2 with increased simulacrum splinter stack and 1 with increased chance for the mirror shards, you can actually find out that at the end of each map, which you are blazing through, because the map is actually quite simple, it's quite easy to do because it doesn't have 200 delirious on top already, and you don't have all those extra mods and extra waystone modifiers and stuff like that. So if you are doing just the rush farm inside the atlas nodes to reach the city maps and to do all your setup with the grand mirrors, yada yada, you'll actually find that the loot you're dropping in splinters in those maps values quite a lot. If you are doing like 50 maps, so you can set up like 2 or 3 city areas with delirious on top, you are actually doing on average 50 or 60 maps to set that up. The speed of the farm is actually great with the delirium tablets, and you're getting a lot of simulacrum splinters, a lot of simulacrum stacks, which actually sell for a lot of divines, like 3.5 divines per simulacrum, and you'll find that in 15 maps you'll get close to 100 divines just from the simulacrum, or even higher, just from the simulacrum splinters. Not counting here that you are actually dropping some divines inside those maps, so maybe 20 or 40 divines just as raw currency drop, and you are actually dropping other stuff like tablets and high unique value items, exceptional bases, and so on. So you can actually farm between the city maps which you are setting up with the grand mirrors. You are actually farming a lot, but you don't notice it because you don't get that impressive huge drop of Omen of Light or something like that, even though you can actually get those as well on different maps which already have Abyss on them. If you are lucky, you'll get maybe 2 or 3 Omen of Lights from 50 random maps, and you're not even targeting Abyss farm on those, and you're still dropping some Omen of Lights, which is great because they sell for a lot. So when you break down the profit for the 50 or 60 maps you are using to actually pre-set up this type of farm, which I am showing you right now, you are making around 3 or 4 divines on average per map without even noticing, if you pick up the right stuff. So it's not just wasted time, you actually still get value from that time. Maybe it takes you 3 or 4 hours, let's say, if your build is a bit slower, to make the pre-setup part, but you are also profiting somewhere between 100 and 200 divines in that time, depending on your luck. So maybe on average it's around 30 divine per hour as a whole for the pre-setup part, and that actually just increases when you actually farm the city maps which you are setting up. So please keep that in mind. Every map has a potential value if you are exploring it with full strategy. Delirium Rush is one of the easiest strategies for the early end game. You just put in some Delirium maps, doesn't even have to be a good Delirium map. You just stack 3 together, place them in, and then rush your way towards the boss of the map in the right direction, and you'll drop a lot of simulacrum splinters, a lot. simply a lot. It will surprise you in the end. And that in terms translates to divines, and not just few divines, but a lot of divines. Yeah, it seems that luck is not on our side this map either, because we are actually closing a lot of pits here and no Omen of Light drop. But still, this happens in Path of Exile. You get maybe 1 or 2 unlucky maps, then you get 2 very lucky maps. It's just the RNG process. I'm actually a bit lost on the map. I was derailed with the stories here, and I'm not sure where the last abyss pit is. But the simulacrum drops are actually great. Should it be at the beginning of the map? Did I miss one there? Let's quickly check that out. So this is what I'm talking about. If you're actually focusing on the farm and on your map, you actually don't miss details like this, which in terms don't turn you back from your farm and lose important time. So if you're just doing this in quick succession, map after map after map of Abyss farm, you will actually get into a flow state, let's say, which will allow you in the end to clear the maps below 10 or 7 minutes, which in turns increase the speed of your farming strategy. Yep, Abyssal Depths. So this is a lucky map, let's say, where that chance, increased chance to get the Abyssal Depths actually matters. But first we are gonna do the map boss, so we ensure that we are completing the map, and then we'll return to the Abyssal Depths and also clear that out. So for this third map we didn't actually get the luck to drop Omen of Lights, but we had a lucky chance of opening up the Abyssal Depths at the end of the pit farm. So now we're gonna try to drop an Omen of Light from the Abyssal Depths here. Let's quickly check that out. Can we still get lucky this third map? That's the main question. We still have some luck dropping 6 divines and maybe some simulacrum, which are also 3 or 4 divines, but as I was saying, I was still counting on dropping at least 1 Omen of Light this map, so not dropping it for the second time is actually extremely unlucky, but we'll see. It didn't end. So a lot of Omen drops but no life. How unlucky is that? Quite unlucky. Another one. Not a light. Let's check this corner here. Abyssal Echoes and Necromancy. Another one. And still no light. It's like the game is intentionally throwing bad luck at us while we are trying to farm the Omen of Light. When I'm not trying to prove a point, when I'm not filming, I'm dropping them more often, or so it seems. But still, that's why we picked a 10 map sample to see if we can get another echo. Okay. Oh, Omen of Light. This was it, boys. The unlucky streak is finally over for the third map. We dropped 1 Omen of Light. At least that drop is actually worth a lot. 14 divines, yeah, maybe. And it's not yet over. We can get a bit lucky if we drop another one, but that would be just too much. But make sure, even though it doesn't seem obvious, if you are farming the Abyssal Depths, make sure you clear the entire area of Abyssal monsters, because you might never know where your luck comes from. So even if you do have to turn around and make another detour, it's not a waste of time. You can still drop an Omen of Light in each corner. So we're gonna be doing exactly that. I'm gonna make sure there's no unexplored area. Sometimes the rare monsters get lost in some corner, and then you might probably miss out on those kills, which in terms translates to missing Omen of Lights, which is not great. So yeah, as I was saying, the third map just dropped some currency and one Omen of Light, which is not bad so far. If we are taking a look at the profit so far, let's say the breakdown for the 3 maps, we are actually averaging at 1 Omen of Light per map, a bunch of simulacrums, some echoes, 8 divines this third map, so that's not actually that bad. Around 12 chaos per map, which is 1.5 divine, I guess. That's still worth something. Let's put the currency, the lower currency, in a different tab. The desecrated currency, I'm still gonna use the specific tab for this currency. Let's check out the Abyss tablet for the unique one. Maybe if we get lucky. 16 additional abysses. So here we go, boys. This tablet alone, if we check the price, is around 3 divines. So 2.3 divines, let's say, in Exalt, or 3 divines. And we actually didn't have a spare one, so this comes in handy. The drop here. So I'm actually not going to use this one. I'm gonna count it towards the profit here on this row, and I'm actually gonna buy separate Abyss tablets, and we'll have a clear breakdown of the profit there. Let's search for a higher item rarity for these maps if we are planning on spending 3 divines on them. So we put the higher limit here as 3, and when we see the item rarity, we just click on it twice to be in descending order. So the higher number here is 26%. If we are looking to drop more Omen of Lights, we need to increase the item rarity on the Waystones if we are to pay 3 divines, which is a high cost for a map. I was telling you earlier that you can buy these for 2 divines if you are carefully hunting for them. But let's get these 2, which have over 25% increased rarity, so maybe we can extract higher divine drop from the item rarity increase as a difference. So we spent 6 divines on 3 Waystones, on 2 Waystones here, and the first ones were 2 divine per Waystone, so we have 5 Waystones so far, costing us 12 divine. I've written this down, and in the final section of the video I will calculate the initial investment for the Waystones, for the tablets, for the unique unforeseen consequences tablets, and we'll get into the breakdown of the profit at that stage of the video. Now let's just open up the separate tablet tab and throw these in real quick, and quickly check the other tablets here. I don't care about this or this. I'll use them for different map exploring, and these ones we're simply gonna sell them because they are of no higher value for this farm. And we still have these 2. And now let's check the Abyss unforeseen consequences actually. Okay, unforeseen consequences, which need to have at least 16 additional abysses, and see how much they cost. I'm actually looking for the price in exalted orbs or equivalent, but we need to close this and this as filters. Let's now see. So around 3 divines maybe. maybe less than 3 divines. Let's see if we can get them for 2 divines in direct divine cost. So no, this map costs 4 divines in raw divines, but it costs just 1,000 exalts, which translates into roughly, if I'm showing you here, so exalts per divine. So if we are trying to get the maps for the divine cost, which is 4 divines, we will actually be spending 1400, almost 1500 exalts, instead of just spending the exalted orb equivalent, which is lower. So do be careful when you buy something of high value. Just try to get it in the right currency type, because you are just losing some divines at the trade right there.
It's yours.
So we got 2 of them right here for around 3 divines or lesser. Okay, so we have 2 more maps with 2 unforeseen consequences tablets. Okay, let's choose the Sun Temple one here with 200 Delirious on top. And let's start the fourth map, guys. Let's get lucky. We haven't got that much luck so far. It's an average type of luck, let's say, with rounding about 1 Omen of Light drop. I was expecting a bit more, but let's see until the end. You might never know. So as you can see here, I was mentioning earlier, you saw that I've cleared up the rare monsters around this abyssal pit, which opened up by mistake while I was hunting for a different abyssal pit. So sometimes if you have a lot of splash damage, you will actually open up 2 or 3 abyss pits which are closely packed together, and if you do so, the effect of the Atlas skill tree, which ensures you increase your effectiveness for each closed pit, doesn't actually apply at full value. Not sure what that unique is, but I can see that my filter likes it. Maybe it's something great, maybe not. We'll price check it. Armory and another armory, and still no omen drop here. I think that monster was killed by my Mirage Deadeye from close within the Dark Cloud, so no Omen of Light drop chance, at least. I think I killed the monsters before they spawned into the Dark Cloud, so here another wasted opportunity to drop the Omen of Light. It's a bit funky the way that works. I actually have to stop firing when I open the pits so that I don't kill any abyssal monsters by mistake, because my damage is quite high and unpredictable. So yeah, I think that's part of the bad luck I'm seeing, because I'm not dropping so many Omen of Lights, because I'm actually killing maybe 30% of the monsters within the Dark Cloud. I should be more careful and watch out for those. I just can't stop clicking. It's actually fun and easy. Just click, 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 and entire screens drop. But sometimes it doesn't work out in your favor. Let's pick up the Simulacrum Splinters. Divine Orb, okay. A Rogue Exile. I'm just seeing on the minimap the Rogue Exile, not on the screen, because all of these effects. Another Omen drop, which is not Omen of Light. But still, guys, don't worry, we'll drop them. We have to drop at least 8 or 9 Omen of Lights inside this 10 map sample. It is almost impossible not to. Or so I hope. The people out there who actually tested this kind of mechanic using Jado are saying that they are seeing somewhere between 11 and 12 Omen of Lights in 10 maps on average. So we are actually not hitting that average from the first 3 or 4 maps. Let's hope we get more lucky on the final pack of maps. So that's the map boss right there. But we are not doing the map boss with high priority because we need to make sure we close all the abyss pits for those drops. I don't know why I see so many dark clouds, which are actually closing because I've killed the abyss monsters inside them without actually dropping any omens, or just the bad ones which my filter, well, filters out. I think I'm missing a lot of drops here by not focusing my damage at the appropriate moment. So how you can avoid this if you are using this type of build: when you open a abyss pit, just stop shooting and face away from the pit so that you don't accidentally kill the abyss monsters inside the dark cloud because of the proximity of your Mirage Deadeye or the proximity of you being thrown around the map by your Headhunter's belt. Modifier steal, of course, from the rare monsters you've been killing. I heard that a lot of people are actually not using Headhunters just because of its annoying effects, which is insane because Headhunters is the best belt in this, the best item actually in this game, I would say, in my opinion. I love it. Every build deserves a Headhunter. Maybe there are some niche builds out there which can take advantage of other types of belts, but Headhunter is right out of the box the most insane item. It can actually multiply your DPS by a factor of 6 or 8 or something like that. At least in my case, it mostly does. My base DPS for the tooltip is around 100k for the ice shot, and when I go around the maps and kill a lot of rare monsters, it actually jumps to 800k, so that's 8x the damage I would do without the belt. I'm not actually thinking of any other item that can do that. Not even the Mage Blood introduced this league, which is a great alternative for some builds like Twister builds. If you have enough raw output damage, like let's say Simulacrum or rather Spark Mage with Temporalis and all that stacking of skills, and you consider your damage to be in order of millions way too high, you can probably swap out the Headhunter and go for Mage Blood or some other cool effects on the belt. But for this build and for a beginner friendly, let's say, build, I would still consider Headhunter to be one of the most important items. Echoes, yeah, 4th map ongoing, still no Omen of Light. It's a bit it's a bit of a hustle. I'm gonna say that, but it's not hard and it's quite relaxing. I actually read, not heard, but read some article written by a dude about Path of Exile. Wasn't even expecting to see articles still be written about games instead of a video format or something like that. So there are a lot of sites out there which write articles and stories about games like Path of Exile 2. And one guy was saying in his article that Path of Exile 2 is actually a cozy game in spite of being very hard, let's say, for the beginner part. So yeah, when you come to this universe, let's say for Path of Exile, and you see the skill tree, the possible combinations, all those stats, all those modifiers, you don't actually understand them, you don't actually know what they mean, how they work together, and it can be a bit alarming, and you can say, well, this is not a relaxing, cozy, casual game. This is the hardcore stuff of the internet for experts and veterans, which are 90s kids. Omen of Light, at last, finally. Fourth map, Omen of Light. Yeah, so I thought like that. I was playing Diablo before Path of Exile. Mostly I enjoyed Diablo 2 and Diablo 2 Resurrected. I don't actually like Diablo 3 and 4 all that much. I think they kind of broke the whole try-hard mechanic of Diablo 2. But that's just me, a 90s kid. And that guy was saying in his article about Path of Exile 2 that it's actually not that hard, unreachable game which gives you panic attacks whenever you open your Atlas tree and try to figure something out. It's actually a cozy game. In which sense this would be a cozy game? Because you come at the point where you simply feel the, let's say, the mood of the game, the pace of the game, and you will come to enjoy, even without a very high-end build, so multi-mirror tier builds, you'll actually come to enjoy the game for its clear speed, for its map clearing, for its mechanics, which can become quite enjoyable and relaxing, as I find them right now. That's where I was starting from with this point in the conversation, because you, after a while, if you get accustomed to your build, you don't actually see the game as being all that hard, and you're not thinking at each moment which button should I click, which effect should I be using, and it becomes much more easier and you get a sense of the game. So yeah, this item is not valued all that high. I thought it was at least a few divines, but no. So we won't count it. No abyssal deaths this map, the fourth map. But not to worry, at least we dropped one Omen of Light. So for the fourth map, 3 Divine Orbs, 3 Abyssal Echoes, 11 Chaos, 1 Annul, some Splinters, and most importantly, 1 Omen of Light. That's the currency that we are counting here. And still, let's stash away the other currencies. For the Abyssal currency, that was it for the separate tab, and now the lower currency in the currency tab. And we'll sell the rest, just stash the tablets away in a separate tab as well. So these tablets here, because you can actually craft on those, and you'll get, let's say, surprised to see if you randomly craft around maybe 100 tablets. Some of them, few of them, will actually be valued at multiple divines, like 5, 7, 8, 10 divines. And when selling in bulk, you will actually see that you are making divines off of selling tablets, which is great.
This is all we have.
That's why I recommend you actually... Oh, 47 exalts. Well, exalts are exalts. Let's also grab those. Why can I... Oh, I have to sell it at the shop here, right? This idol. And let's check the exalt. So some of the people are buying it for 70. Let's put it up for a 6-7. And try to sell it maybe in a day or two. It will sell. Don't know who uses that, but still.
A useful trade.
Let's quickly check now another price for the... Okay, so we are still seeing it at around 2 and 2.5, let's say almost 3 divines, which is not bad, but translated into exalts. Let's buy another spare one so that we have continuity. Some prices might go up, some prices might come down. You never know. Oh, I don't have the equivalent in exalts. What? Let's change some currency then. Greater exalts, 4 exalts. How much are those? Okay. So if we add a 0 here and 1 here, we can actually get a bunch of these. Let's see if we can grab more. And let's say we sell some divine, why not? For 412. Let's place the order and grab some exalts, because we'll be using these exalts to buy cheaper tablets. So we are adding these here in the currency tab, not ruining our profit tab. Let's grab all the exalts we can get. That's a good price, guys. Above 400 exalts per divine. It's a good price, don't worry. Now we can buy those tablets. So that's how you can actually make profit, by buying items and selling them using the right currency. You have to price check them in exalts, in chaos and in divines, and see which of those currencies actually work out for the type of item that you're buying. Let's grab another one. Here's a cheaper one actually. Doesn't make much of a difference, but still you can get the cheapest one available at that time. And now let's quickly check the Waystone market. So we are looking for the Waystones, which have 8 modifiers, right? And 103 monster rarity at least. So here it means we have 3 divines equivalent in exalt. And let's quickly check if we can grab it for 2 divines. Maybe someone listed one for 2 divines. I'm gonna put the maximum ceiling at 3, and hopefully we can still spot some at 2 divines, but as we can see, just 3 divines cost here. And now we're gonna filter using item rarity by clicking it twice and seeing, oh, this one has actually 40 increase item rarity. This one actually is quite worth 3 divines. That's what we're hunting for. 40 increase item rarity is actually one of the best options for this combo with 8 mods. And we can still grab one with, let's say, 23 item rarity and some pack size. That's also quite fine. Okay, so we got some tablets, some Waystones. That's great. Let's quickly do another map, so the 5th one, and then I'll take a short break and come back for the final part of the 5 map section. Let's jump to another Val target like this one, and we can see Val City here, Sun Temple, another Val City, and another Val City, and the Bazaar. These are great layouts. Let's choose this one here. Add the Waystone, the Abyss tablet, And let's go. Fifth map. Fifth map, guys. So far so good. Averaging 1 Omen of Light per map. Counting just Omen of Lights there. Multiple Divines, multiple Exalts. But still, I would actually be happy to see that we are actually increasing the average of Omen of Lights per map drop. That would be insane to reach maybe 1.5 or 2 Omen of Lights per map. That would actually prove that this farming strategy, which is a bit costly but much more easier than the Hilda one, I would say. Somehow it seems easier to clear out. Some irradiated tablet here with the Lost Paradise, some Divine Orb, that's great. Some Chaos Drop Simulacrums. See, my Headhunters is throwing me around the map and I'm not actually having the control here to click on each and every item. I have to turn back, which in terms maybe loses me some time. But I've seen players out there who take advantage of the Headhunter throwing effect around the map, and they firstly clear the entire map and then they come back for the loot. That could be a strategy you guys can use if you like this bouncing effect, to firstly clear the entire map and then pick up the items. But there's a risk there, because if you randomly kill half of the map, let's say, and drop some Omen of Lights or Divines and do not pick them up and try to kill the entire map, and you get killed by a random explosion or some tight corner or stuff like that, you will come to regret not picking up the Omen of Light before dying. So that's why I'm trying to be a bit safe here and try to pick up every item of potential value before moving on to the next section of the map or to the next bit. Another Abyss monster was killed. If you can see the Dark Cloud here, and then it dissipates and then no Omen drops because I was clicking as they were spawning and the Dark Cloud spawned on top of them, and so I've actually missed another potentially Omen of Light drop. That's the price you pay when you're not focusing. It's hard not to enjoy just clicking around the map, but you still have to keep in mind that you at some point have to either kill very fast or stop and wait for the Dark Cloud to spawn and to draw the monster out of it. So now I'm stopping, but the monsters are not of Amanamu influence, so I've stopped for nothing. That also happens, yeah. Cool. No influence here, no Dark Clouds. I actually hate when the snake fellows begin their spinning animation, in which they are invulnerable, but somehow the ice effect from the shots freeze them, and while they are frozen they are still unkillable, and you have to shoot them a couple of times and still nothing happens, and then they just become unfrozen and continue their spinning animation while being invulnerable, and only after that while you can kill them. Come on, Omen of Lights. No Omen of Lights? Still? God damn it. God damn it. A lot of monsters were killed and still no Omen of Light. Nothing of use here. Come on, this might actually be it. No! Putrefaction. Who does use Omen of Putrefaction? Maybe crafters? Not sure what price point is on that Omen. A Divine Drop, still funny. Let's quickly check. Putrefaction. So 2 Exalts. This is worth nothing. Nothing. not worth picking up the ground. Okay, so let's turn back because I think we're heading in the boss direction and we haven't cleared out the monsters from the pits here. So later we'll have to turn around too much. Come on. Moment of light, that's it, boys. That's the lucky drop. So on average, as you can clearly see in this live farming, we are in the 5th map and we have a total of 5 Omen of Lights already dropped from 3 of the 5th map, of the 5 map. I think 3 of them dropped and 2 of them didn't. Well, we have the footage, you can guys check that out for yourself. But what matters in the end is that we got 5 lights from 5 maps, which averages at 1 light per map at least so far. Maybe we can get lucky on a higher number of maps in a sample, and probably that average will increase. But even so, even if the average drop another Omen of Light, as I was saying guys, this map is almost 2 Omen of Lights on average, so the average I was talking about earlier has actually increased to 1.20 drops of Omen of Lights per map so far, and I think we actually are unlucky so far. We can get luckier than this on a higher sample and actually raise the average drop of Omen of Lights per map at maybe 1.5, as those guys were talking about on the articles and videos I've been following. And if that is in some way true and confirms, this proves that this strategy is actually an insanely profitable one. Because the fast builds out there with a good clear speed actually can do a map like this in less than 10 minutes, maybe 5 to 7 minutes easy. And if you drop 1 Omen of Light every 10 minutes, that's insanely huge profit. It's insanely huge profit. Don't even want to translate that into profit, that's how high it is. It's illegal to be spoken out loud. It's way too much profit. So yeah, I actually do enjoy these abyss farming strategies. I think this one is the third type of strategy I've been showing you guys. If you want to check out the other two, I have the Hilda one, a dedicated video on that with uncut footage that I hope you guys enjoyed. I got a lot of comments and likes on that one, so thanks for that. And also I have another abyss farming video which compares 2 types of methods, one using Hilda and another using Jado, but a different Jado method than this one which I'm showing you right now. That method is actually quite cheap and easy and fun and relies mostly on abyssal depths, not on additional map modifiers or chance for abyssal monsters to have abyssal modifiers increased. So that's a different Jado strategy. This is a second Jado strategy for the abyss farming that I'm showcasing right now. If you're curious on each strategy, you can go check those out. I can assure you that each strategy is almost as profitable as the other. So that's what I actually enjoy this league, this season for Path of Exile 2. They've been very well aligned in calculating the types of strategies you can use in the end game and balancing them out. So if you are using Jado, you can get around 10 Omen of Lights in 10 maps. If you are using Hilda, you can get around 9 or 10 Omen of Lights in 10 maps. If you are using the Oriani, you can probably get more or less the same. It's not about the exact details of each strategy, one being far greater than the other. It's about enjoying the game, and if your build can handle a high level of juicing like 200% delirious on top of city maps using 8 modifiers on your waystones and stuff like this, I can guarantee you that almost each and every type of abyss farming strategy that you plan to use will actually be quite lucrative, and it will give you a good amount of profit. And it's not about picking just the best one. You can try several of them. You can see which one works better for your specific build, your specific tier speed, and adapt to your farming strategy which you like the most, and still not fear that you are missing or leaving on the table a bunch of profit because only one type of strategy is better and the other suck. No, that's not the case. Most of them are quite balanced between them, and most of them really do give you a high profit, and it depends on your initial investment, on your initial state of your build, but still I think every abyss strategy, popular strategy out there, is worth trying, is worth farming, and you can then just fine-tune the details to your needs, to your build, to your speed, and so on. That's why I actually enjoy this league, this season, more than the rest of them. I've been playing since early access, all of the seasons, most of the popular builds, including cast on critical sorceress, including the twister build, including the poison build, including the minion build. So I've been trying out different build archetypes, and I've been enjoying most of them. This one I enjoy the most, the ice shot, gotta give you that. And from each season I've enjoyed some of the parts of the game, but still, after playing in Trade League for around, let's say, 3 or 4 weeks into the league, I usually was swapping to the solo self-found because the economy was going bad in those previous seasons, and the endgame farm was not all that much of a pleasure, enjoyment for me at least. It was becoming dull and repetitive and uninteresting quickly, or rather more quickly than this league. So that's what I'm telling you guys. After 2 months into this league, into this season, I'm still enjoying it, have a lot of fun playing this build, playing this type of abyss farming, and I still haven't explored all the variants, all the strategies. I haven't been farming abyss in all the different styles. I haven't been farming expedition for the Elder Saga, which I will once I get my build up to speed and upgrade my bow. And I haven't been also farming Reach at its maximum potential, which I'll try to do also in the future. Maybe the next month we'll have some room for these different types of farm that I haven't been doing so far. And yeah, a lot of reasons to still play Path of Exile. Maybe the veterans out there got bored a little bit quicker than me because they already know all the combinations, they farm a lot faster, they upgraded their builds a lot faster, and for them maybe 1 month of Trade League play is enough. I almost killed this guy. As you can see how low the life is on this Manamu Void monster. And now my Mirage that I killed it actually, and still we've opened up the Abyssal Depths in the 5 map we've been running so far. We've opened up the Abyssal Depths twice, which means that the 4th random modifier that we've been choosing on our tablets is increasing the chance in reality to get the Abyssal Depths, because normally every 10 maps you might open just one path to the Abyssal Depths, but in this 5 streak map we've actually opened 2 of them, which is quite nice because we have a very good chance in the Abyssal Depths to find more Omen of Lights. That's what we're trying to get, and that's where we are heading. Let's jump in. Remember, it's always a good idea to do the Abyssal Depths. Don't think or don't live under the impression like it was on previous seasons that Abyssal Depths is a waste of time during recent Omen of Light. That's what I've been talking about. See guys, just jump in, shoot the first monster you see. It might actually bring you that Omen of Light drop. You never know. You never know. It was lucky for me this time, but it happens. It happens quite a lot. I've seen 2 Omen or 3 Omen of Light drops in one Abyssal Depths. They've been buffing, as I was saying. The information here of value is the fact that this used to not work, to not have all of these rare abyss monsters with those modifiers on top of them, because there was kind of a bugged mechanic where the effects from the tablets and Waystones and all that weren't applying to the level of Abyssal Depths, only inside the main map. And now, starting from patch 0.5D, I guess, or something like that, they fixed that interaction, and now the effect applies to your Abyssal Depths. And the matter of fact is that in the Abyssal Depths you get a bunch of monsters which have Abyssal modifiers, which in terms might be just Amanamu modifiers, and by killing 10 or 12 of them or 20 of them, you still have a great chance of dropping at least one Omen of Light. So yeah, that's good to explore, and we'll profit from that. So I think this 5th map is actually one of the most profitable maps we ran so far in the 10 map cycle, but we'll have to wait and see what happens until the end, until the 10th map. We might actually get another lucky one such as this one, and yeah, Omen of Light, that's the profit we're making, guys, just from Omen of Lights. And once we complete, let's say, the 10 map cycle for this sample size, we are going to draw the conclusions. We are going to sell the loot, the items at current market price. And as you've seen in the beginning of the video and now towards the end of the video, you will see the entire process starting from scratch, how you buy the items, what the items are, which modifiers to use, and what do they really cost. It's not all invented, it's not a make-believe story, it's all on footage, live filming here for you guys, so you can definitely make a good evaluation of each strategy, and maybe possibly then get the idea to try it out yourselves, and then you'll be convinced that it's not just make-believe, it's just a strategy which works quite nice. Another good thing about the Abyssal Depths, as you can see here, I dropped the Preserved Cranium, which is quite expensive. I can get 14 divines just for this cranium. It's almost a bit more than an Omen of Light for the Preserved Cranium, and the desecrated currency for the Abyss, like the Preserved Cranium, is dropped quite often in the Abyssal Depths. So when you finish the Abyssal Depths and check out those chests at the end part there, it's a guaranteed chance that you drop some currency for the desecrated Abyss. So when you drop those currency types, you most probably will get preserved rib or preserved jawbone most often. That's true, that's not high value, but from time to time, now and again, you will see either ancient rib or ancient preserved cranium, and that will actually increase the value. We'll be counting this as well. 3 Omen of Lights in the 5th map, 5 Divines, raw currency drop, 2 Annuls, 16 Chaos Orbs, and 101 Splinters. This is the currency, and another 7 Echoes here, a perfect Jeweler's Orb, And that's just about what I'm counting in these maps. Now the rest of the currency, the exalts, the vals, we're gonna stash away in a different tab, so we're not counting the lower currency. We still got a master's domain and an irradiated tablet. Let's check that one out. This is the Vision of Paradise, which sells for 5.5 divines.
Of
I'll
course.
put this here in the tab. These are the drops from the fifth map. Is this worth anything? No. Okay, so the lower currency for the abyss we're gonna stash away here and not count. We have the grand project here as well. 8.4 what? Is this actually for real? The grand project
Hail.
is worth 8 divines? What the hell? That's quite expensive. Well, let me check it. It's quite expensive. I wasn't expecting this. The grand project irradiated. Let's close these filters and search. Oh my god, it's actually worth all that much in divine. Let's check the price in divine. 10 divines. Shit. This is 10 divines. Wow. I was getting used to the grand project tablet being like 3 divines, and I wasn't expecting this to be 10 divines, but it actually is.
Check back soon.
That's insane. See guys, lucky drops. This is 10 divines. This is, I don't know, 8 divines. We got 18 divines just from 2 unique tablets and 14 divines from sorry, preserved cranium. This is 30 divines or so right here in 3 drops. That's insane, not counting the Omen of Lights, which we are at 7 in just 5 maps. That's insane. This strategy is insane. So far it's been worth it, and we'll continue to farm the remaining 5 maps to see how much loot can we actually drop from these strategies with the Abyss farm. Quite unexpected. Let me quick check. Okay, this is actually some exalts, and we'll sell the rest.
Speak. This is
So
all we have.
we are at
Use of
the
this
5th map so far,
is of the essence.
and this is the loot right here. I'm gonna take a quick break and I'm gonna come back real soon. The break part I'm gonna cut off at the final edit of the video, and I'm just gonna leave the screen as it is and come back to it in a few moments. Okay guys, back. Let's continue on with the farm for this really nice strategy so far. I think it's one of the best I've tried. Let's go to another city map. Let's use the Waystone with the highest rarity. Maybe we can find more Omen of Lights if that's even possible. Probably 2 or 3. Depends on the RNG. And we can see maybe the unlucky factor, if this time it doesn't drop any Omen of Light, it will clearly be due to the unlock of the RNG, because as of this moment we have the highest item rarity we can get on these maps. So not dropping a Omen of Light here would be quite unlucky. But still no problem, we dropped 7 Omen of Lights in just 5 maps, and if you check out my previous strategy video using Hilda, we dropped 8 Omen of Lights in the 10 map sample. Probably that was a bit unlucky with just 8 Omen of Lights, but as far as I know, the drops here for 7 Omen of Lights in just 5 maps is absolutely insane. It's a high number of Omen of Light drops per map, so I hope we can continue at this rate. And if we get at least, let's say, 12 Omen of Lights in the 10 map sample, it will be a very successful bunch of maps, which will prove beyond any doubt in live footage that this farming strategy is one of the most profitable out there for the Abyss. But as I was saying earlier, the difference shouldn't be all that much. Maybe some divines in the total profit at the end. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm actually delighted so far with the progress. I'm not sure what I'm shooting at because it's a clusterfuck of a screen. This is a Manamu, okay. It dropped the Omen, but not the Omen we were looking for. Oh, so there's a Rogue Exile here somewhere. I dropped him and I got a diamond, which at the beginning of the league is quite good because you can set up your build using that diamond, or you can sell it at a very good divine price at the beginning of the league. Now it's not really worth all that much. Probably only the perfect rolls in this point. 2 months into the league. Closed a few pits, no drops of light so far, but we still got some hope because it's just the beginning of the map. Another point that I'm actually enjoying in these farming strategies for the Abyss is the usage of the Unforeseen Consequences tablet, which is actually quite cool because it guarantees those additional pits on each map, which is a nice effect. It's a nice farm playstyle, and the dopamine hits come quite often because you actually kill a bunch of monsters which drop interesting stuff. So as I was saying, in terms of enjoying the game itself, not just looking for highest profit, the Abyss strategies, for me at least, are absolutely insane and quite fun to play. Maybe there's a similar effect, I'm assuming, in Breach farming, but that's just the end of the farm where you spawn all those rare monsters which drop some divines, and yeah, that's just one hit in the entire strategy. But here, using the Abyss, you actually get multiple moments where you can enjoy seeing the divine drops, seeing Omen of Light drops, and that's actually quite nice. Let's target this fucker. After he's done spinning, we'll drop him fast. Okay, Omen of Necromancy, that's fine. That's fine. I'm still opening those chests from the Abyss pits because sometimes they drop divines. So you guys can actually speed this farm up by quite a lot without picking all of the exalts, all of the valves, all of the splinters. If you are just simply targeting Omen of Lights as quickly as possible, you can actually skip some of the loot and move a bit faster inside these maps. See, another divine here. And that's probably another method to quickly farm Omen of Lights if that's your sole purpose. I'm trying to pick up all the interesting loot by force of habit. I'm picking exalts which are worth nothing. I'm picking up Val Orbs which still have not much value. And I'm picking up Chaos Orbs which in terms translate to divines, because at current market price one divine is around 8.8 chaos. We'll check that at the end when we're doing the profit breakdown, but from the last time I checked, I remember that it's around 8 or 9 chaos orbs per one divine. When you're stacking those drops, it's actually piling up. Haven't seen any perfect currencies like perfect exalts or perfect chaos so far, but maybe we'll get lucky on those as well. Not sure what I'm shooting at, but the beauty of this Deadeye build, Ice Shot build, is the fact that you don't really have to target anything. So those are 2 twinks. Oh, one is concentrated fear. I'll price check that as well. And one I'm not seeing so far, but I think it's this way. Another divine orb. Okay, that's cool. I'll pick that up after clearing the Amanamu monsters. Okay, divine orb in a coffer, see? So another quick tip here is the abyssal coffers drop the most frequent high raw currencies like divines or annuls and even chaos orbs. So armories, they don't really drop divine orbs. Arsenal, maybe not, but if you see a coffer, make sure to click on that. And also if you see a strong box, it can also drop currency, especially if it's a researcher's strong box, so you might as well click on those while you're mapping. Try to get the most out of the map and enjoy the process. It's not all about speed and efficiency, and it might pay out in the end. No light so far, come on. This is a high rarity map. Should be seeing at least 1 Omen of Light, if not 2. But RNG system for this game is really crazy. Coffer again, see the annul and the chaos. Previous coffer was dropping a divine, this time on annul, which is roughly the same price, maybe 3 divines, at least 3.5 divines for 1 annul. Sometimes it gets 4 divines in 5 annul. So those are actually valuable. Valorb, why not? Perfect jewelers. I think 3 or 4 of those perfect jewelers are actually worth 1 divine. So if you stack up a bunch of them, you can still get value. Abyssal echoes, no light, no worries. We're getting there, guys, don't worry. Okay, so I've finished clearing the pits here. And now for the map boss, if I can locate him. No abyssal deaths in this 6th map. No Omen of Lights, but still got a nice chunk of profit from the raw currency drops and probably the splinters. We'll have to see. Liquid Despair, whatever that's about. Okay, so 5 divines, 1 annul, some chaos.
You've received a shipment.
Let's check it out. 5 divines, 58 splinters, 1 annul, 11 chaos, 1 diamond, 1 echo, and the rest I think, oh, 1 perfect jewelers. Is this worth anything, the despair? Some exalts, not really. And the liquid fear, 25 exalts, that's not bad actually. Okay, let's stash the currency in the currency tab, the lower currency. The desecrated currency from the abyss. I missed this fucker here. Okay, let's identify, let's stash the tablets in the secondary tab. Some Waystones. Maybe these guys, and then I'll sell the rest.
This is all we have as expected.
So that was the 6th tablet farm, the 6th map. Let's see if we can buy some additional Waystones with the 103 rarity and maybe the trade filter set for maximum 3 divines, and with the stat of 8 modifiers. Let's search. Okay, still no 2 divine maps, no luck for those, but we're gonna check the highest rarity. It's not a lot, just 16%, but the pack size is 18. We'll see if we'll buy some other tablets, some other Waystones. We still have one here. Currency exchange, okay, for the exalted orbs. Let's stash them away. And let's jump into the 7th map, which is the bazaar here. Sinter Rift. That's the corruption from the Jado spec. I hope this is a good layout. I'm not actually familiar with this. Maybe I am, I didn't memorize it. Okay, so the dark clouds are spawning. This doesn't have the Amanamu influence, as you can see. We're just killing it for fun. The other one dropped nothing. This one is Amanamu. Come on. Putrefaction, that's not great. Okay, let's move on. See, we killed that Amanamu monster before it spawned the Dark Cloud and still dropped some Omen, but not the Omen of Light. Unfortunate. So that was what I was telling you, you either quick them really fast or just wait for them to spawn the cloud and lure them outside the cloud so you can safely kill them and ensure the Omen of Light possible drop. Didn't happen here. We got a bunch of splinters that I want to pick up, but the headhunter is throwing me around. Okay. Let's click on this essence stuff. You can actually use the essence if you use headhunters to spawn the rare monster and then kill it really fast to grab its modifiers, and that will ensure your damage or speed or whatever scales with the modifiers that you steal. And that's a cool little trick you can use to further boost your DPS. The spinning guy, come on. Did it die and didn't have the Manamu modifier? Probably. Okay, this abyss here. No influence there. Okay, so for the first part of the map, we didn't get lucky. Still searching. Some splinters. Putrefaction again. No Omen of Light. Sad face. Bunch of splinters. More splinters. No influence, no Manamu. The reason why I actually enjoy the trade league so far is the fact that you have, let's say, a steadier progression. You have a good rolling economy, despite the fact that inflation has spiked the prices of mirrors. 5k divines is not really what most of us can afford for one mirror. Haven't got a mirror in my inventory yet since started playing, but when I do, I'll really be happy. Another divine, that's cool. Let's get that divine. Seems like a lot of dark clouds spawning, but not a lot of monsters surviving inside them. Just this one. Let's see. Yeah, another omen that we didn't need. Okay. Let's snipe this one. No omen. Cool. Okay, some shrine. I do like shrines. They're fun. Annoying effect from the Atlas tree about shrines is that sometimes when you pick up shrines, they don't apply the effect right on top of you. They actually apply it to the final encounter with the map boss. That's a bit annoying. Got another divine right there. Echoes and Putrefaction. No Omen of Light so far. Guys, this is unlucky. The 7th map, which I'm running at the moment of gameplay, was a bit unlucky. I didn't have the chance to get the Omen of Light in the 6th one. Now comes the 7th one without the Omen of Light drop so far. Yeah, you have to get some work done on your patience, because you sometimes simply miss the Omen of Light drop. But still, you can enjoy picking up simulacrums and divines, which are really fun. I do hope, talking about inflation, I said that in the previous video about farming and the inflation of the game and the whole economy system. I do hope that these guys from grinding gear games find another use or a different additional use for the divine orbs, such as adding or removing modifiers from targeted items, so that the price of divine orbs maintains its value with respect to the mirrors, so that players which actually do play the league for 1 or 2 months get the actual chance to buy a mirror using divine drops, because the mirror drop is insanely low, as it should be. I'm not complaining about that. I never dropped one. I'll be the luckiest man alive when dropping one in Path of Exile, sure. Hasn't happened. I'm not complaining about the mirror drop chance. I'm just complaining that the divine price is getting lower and lower with respect to the mirror price, and you have to farm an insane amount of divines to be able to buy a mirror off the market using divines. And the higher you're trying to invest in the farm of the divines, the higher the cost. And if you find a good profitable strategy, while you're using that strategy, you'll see that the increase in price for the mirror outpaces your farming strategy. And while in the first week, let's say, you'll find that the mirror costs 300 divines, as you're farming towards that sum of divines, you will see that when you reach it, it costs 1k divine, and then when you're farming that, you'll see that it costs 3k divine, and when you're farming that, you'll see that it costs 5k divine, and so on. And the more you farm, the more you stack your divines, the further somehow you are from actually buying a mirror. That's why it's recommended, guys, to invest your raw currency like divine orbs in different stuff, like, let's say, Omen of Lights. So at the beginning of the league, a good thing to do when you stack some divines, just buy, oh, another Abyssal Depths, the third one in 7 maps. That's cool. So as I was saying, when you reach, let's say, 3 or 4 divines, which is the price of the Omen of Light when starting the league, first 2 weeks I mean, you can actually transform your divines buying those Omen of Lights, and then that will help you with the inflation of the game, because as League progresses the mirror costs more and more divines, but still the Omen of Lights actually translate into more and more divines, so that helps you out beating inflation. Omen of Whittling, Omen of Light, those are good investment points for your divines. And at some point maybe a lock, which actually maintains its price quite nicely. And the further away from the divine currency is the final mirror, which you can buy after a while if you are diligently farming each day and consistently turning profits into investments and so on and so forth. Another, let's say, easy way for veteran players to beat inflation is the crafting of item system. While you are farming, you are getting a lot of exceptional bases, let's say, and a bunch of resources. You can invest into crafting items, and then you can sell those items for profit. And once you reach some let's say points of interest for the items in those leagues, for the most frequently used builds, you can try to farm the most targeted items and craft them, I mean, and that will help you out with the economy, because you're crafting items for cheap and selling them for a bunch of divines, and that can prove to be a good investment. Another Abyssal Echoes, so even if we got the luck to open the Abyssal Depths, so far we are still dropping just different types of omens, but not the light one. Hopefully that will soon happen. Hasn't so far. But we'll keep hoping that it does. Omen of Light. Yeah, baby. So that's the whole point. We've been spawning 3 Abyssal Deaths so far in 7 maps, and in 2 of them we've been getting the Omen of Light, and in one of them, at the very end, for those crates which guarantee a different type of currency, Abyssal currency drop, we've actually got the Preserved Cranium, which is higher cost than the Omen of Light, 14 divines, Putrefaction at the end. And let's open up the chests here. Preserved Rib, it's not that much value, but still could have been higher. At least we got 1 Omen of Light out of it, so we still need to defeat the map boss. I forgot about him. Let's quickly find him and end this map. What is this proximal turn? Yeah. So a lot of Delirium tablets. Delirium tablets, if they roll the good modifiers, they can be sold for a bunch of divines. So even though we are not counting them in the total profit section of these videos, which refer mostly to abyss farming, in the real gameplay you'll find that by stacking up multiple tablets and then trying to craft them yourself, you will get lucky from time to time and hit some good modifiers, which can be then sold for a lot of divines. Let's check out this exceptional base. What's its value? Is it worth? Okay, 39 divines. That's not a lot, but still. Let's put it up for a lower price. Now let's identify the items and do a quick recap for the 7th map. 4 divines, 9 chaos, 2 echoes, 1 omen of light, maybe a greater chaos. I'm not sure how much this is worth. 141 exalts. I don't think I've counted those so far, but let's keep track of those as well. Yeah, splinters, And that's about it, I guess. Yeah, that's about all the value we can get here. Let's then get rid of the currencies from the abyss. And now with the lower currencies, let's stack the tablets in the secondary tab alongside with the Waystones. And then let's sell the remaining items which are of no interest.
As expected.
And we'll need to continue buying some new Waystones and some tablets for the unforeseen consequences, of course. So 3 divines per Waystone. The price has not lowered during this video, but let's buy another one for 3 divines. And then let's buy an unforeseen consequences tablet. Or maybe 3, because that's how much we need until the end with the additional 16. And let's change the value here, buyout price in exalted orbs or equivalent. Something is blocking me. Oh, the modifier here. Okay. Let's buy these using exalts. So I got one here. Buy another one. Hopefully I have enough exalts stashed up. Nope. Actually I don't. Let's quickly change some divines into exalts. Okay.
I'll fill that in as soon as I can.
Okay. I think that's enough. Stash. Currency. And now we should have enough exalts to actually buy
In order?
the unforeseen consequences
You
here.
definitely want that one, right?
18 additional abysses. This seems nice. We can ignore this. 16 is fine. 18 is probably overkill for most layouts, using the corruption from Jado, which might actually give you a bad layout. The difference in price here is of no interest so far for us. We can buy another one at around 3 divines worth of exalt orbs. So we have the total of 3 tablets which remain
Bye then.
to be farmed in this 10 map cycle. And now let's jump right into the 8th map using the Sun Temple here. Yeah, okay. Let's use this one. And this tablet. And let's see what Jado gives us. Augury. This is a bad layout, guys. This is so unlucky. We turned a Sun Temple into Augury, which is actually quite bad. But still, let's see what drops we can get from this. It's the tight spaces here, the tight corners, which actually sometimes bug the abyss spawns, which don't give us the total number of rare monsters, so that we don't get the highest chance to drop the Omen of Light. That's why bad layouts such as these ones need to be avoided while farming the abyss, and you can do that by using a different Atlas master like Doriani. But we are committed now, using Jado still. As you can see, the monsters here are tightly packed, and have a lower chance of actually spawning inside the range for the rare monsters that we are stacking from the tablets. So possibly they just spawn one or two or get bugged by the map in the tight corners. So that means we have less and less chances of dropping the Omen of Light. Let's check this out real quick. Nothing of value here. Okay. And also a bad tight layout such as this doesn't actually have the exact number of additional abyss pits. So if open map had all of those abyss pits spread around for like 16 additional and 4 that are default, so a total of 20 or 20 something abyss pits inside the widespread area zone in a map, we can see here that in a bad layout such as Augury and a few others, we actually get less number of abyssal pits, like really lower, somewhere between, I don't know, 7, 10, so that cuts our chances in half for finding the Omen of Light. You do get this from time to time using Jado, that's the downside, the bad side of the farm. But yeah, unfortunate, what can I say? I hope they actually fix this layout for most of these maps, like, I don't know, Forge or Augury. I hope they do something about the tight spaces, because it's really annoying. They work out for normal gameplay, but for some farming strategies it's actually a very important downside. Maybe just make the map a bit bigger or wider so that the mechanics work properly when stacking up different types of pits and farm methods, so that we no longer face the downside of these maps. So I got 2 or 3 pits on that side, 2 or 3 pits on this side, and 2 or 3 on the top corner. So that's around 11-12 pits, I guess, for this map, which is really bad. Really bad. It's a wasted map right here. It does feel bad. And Sun Temple, remember, Sun Temple has 3 layers entirely made of abyssal pits, which can drop a ton of omens and give you the better chance of getting the Omen of Light. This map was simply wasted. I'm actually thinking about not counting it as a map as a whole, but still I'm gonna count it because it's part of the process. What can you do? But this map alone will lower the total profit by quite a lot. Imagine if I dropped at least 1 Omen of Light, that would make all the difference. But this map is simply bad, simply a bad layout. So we got really unlucky here, just 1 divine drop, 1 annul. As you can see, just 1 chaos orb. This is bullshit. This map was bullshit. So yeah, I'm gonna call it out. Very bad map. Waste of profit. Let's see the currency. Okay. Now the other type of currency for the abyss. Bunch of tablets. Some other waystones. I'm not gonna check them out right now. And I'm gonna sell the rest.
This is all we have.
And still we have to buy more waystones. Tier 15 with the 8 modifiers. And let's quickly check the endgame filters. Okay. So this is like 3 and something divines. So it's better if we check the divine price here. Okay, let's check the rarity. So 40, oh my god, this is actually, we bought a map similar to this for just 3 divines. Now that's insane. That was a lucky buy. Let's just limit this to 3 and see which is the highest rarity possible. So 15 as of now. Quite unlucky, but still we'll have to take it to move on with the video. Still have 2 maps remaining for the final. Let's see, we can change the location here for another val target. So this one was completed, this one. Okay, we have the sun temple here. Let's roll the sun temple again and probably risk changing it into a shit map as we did before. Hopefully not. Arid plains. This at least sounds better than augury. And I think it is. Seems to be much more of an open layout. I hope it gets the right amount of abyss pits. And I hope our luck compensates the previous map and we drop 2 Omen of Lights. Let's hope for that. Divine. Not bad. Regal, some other shit. Necromancy. A diamond. Come on, some Omen of Lights. That's what we need. Oh shit, I killed those abyss inside the... Fuck. Still no Omen of Lights, come on. This is getting unlucky real fast. So at the 7th map mark, we were doing very well. But now into the 9th map, I can say that we stockpiled a lot of bad luck. Due to the map layouts and due to the fact that no Omen of Lights were dropped. That's just compensating and turning this from 5 lucky maps or 7 lucky maps to 10 bullshit. But let's hope that until the end we still balance this out in the 10 map sample, because as I was saying earlier, if you get a higher sample of maps, like 100 sample maps, you can probably see that there's a better chance of not getting so unlucky with 2 or 3 maps. This perfectly ruins your 10 map sample if you get 2 or 3 unlucky maps in this sample. But if you play actually 100 maps, you won't be getting 30% of them unlucky. So that actually gives you a better perspective of how many Omen of Light you can drop on average. But so far I'm trying to go through different types of strategies, and then probably I'll make a compilation video using a higher sample size of maps and structuring the drops there so as to give you guys a clear profit breakdown using a higher test sample. But for the live footage, that would be insane. No good drops on this map as well. Just a few divines and some different orbs which are not some different omens which are not Omen of Light. The spread looks cool, but that's just about it. Beam drop right there. This game is really not optimized. Omen of Echoes, come on. At least one Omen of Light would be okay for the count, but still nothing. Omen of Echoes again. Did they lower the drop chance for the... Seems that the last 3 maps were really unlucky. Different types of Omen drops, but no light. Even Echo drops are actually quite low, if you come to think about it. You should be expecting more Omen of Echoes, which are still quite low. Not speaking about Omen of Lights, which are non-existent so far. Hopefully we'll get lucky on the Abyssal Depths part, and maybe open up another Abyssal Depths until the 10th map. Different omens, different omens. Where did that thing come from? I heard a thing. Maybe 2. Okay, so 2 Omens of Echoes. Fake thing. I know. Just got lazy and didn't remove it from the filter. No influence monsters here, no divine drops from coffers, no Omen of Lights this map. Yeah, it happens. Come on. Come on, drop that Omen of Light. No. Anything else but the Omen of Light. But we still have a chance here for the Lightless Void, which in terms can drop some currency, something valuable, or just the key. Yeah. The key for the Kulaman farm, which can actually drop or guarantees the drop of some ancient currency. So that's good. But let's quickly finish the fight with the mob, the monster boss. This giant worm and the scorpio right here. Some Waystones. Okay, now let's do the Lightless Void, because the map was really unlucky so far, as was the previous one. The bad layout. Maybe, possibly the 10th map would be turning the luck in our favor. We were doing so well until the 7th map, and now it's just gone completely unlucky. Oh god, these omens, they hate me. They really do. How can you find 7 omens of lights in the first 5 maps and almost nothing in the next 5 maps? How can that be? And I had better Waystones in the second half of the 10 map sample with 40% rarity and stuff like that. And still it didn't make any difference for the RNG system, which actually turned me down and said okay, no more drops. That was it. Keep trying. But yeah, you get the idea. The drops were very, very good in the first 5 or 7 maps, let's say. And if they would have continued to be so, the total profit from this strategy would be much higher than it already is. But still, it's at a good point nonetheless. No Omen drops here. No Amanamu. No divines. Okay, let's kill this boss creature. Full max invitation, but not much else. How much is this worth, I wonder? Almost 3 divines. Not bad, not bad. Not great, but still. It's something. Can we actually get some other kills here? I forgot to check. No, that was it. Let's return. So the 8th and the 9th map were actually quite useless, without much loot, so unlucky. RNG guys, RNG. It happens.
I have a buyer.
Speak. These are our supplies.
So I don't need
As
this.
expected.
Let's count what we got. 3 divines, 1 diamond, 4 echoes, 88 splinters, Coolamox. And that's probably, oh, 4 chaos, which is a bit low. And about yeah, that's mostly it. Let's drop the other currencies. And the desecrated currencies. Okay, now for the tablet part. A lot of tablets have been dropping during this farm, as you can see. Some waystones that might be of use for the crafting of
Speak.
better
Choose what you
tablets,
need,
better
and make use
waystones
of this.
later. And now we still need for the final part another waystone. No, no, not the pack size, the item rarity. Let's try that. 15%. Not the best, but still, I think this one is actually better. Yeah, I'll take this one. Let's jump into the final map. Let's see if after such a unlucky streak we can actually get some luck rolling on the final map. The Sun Temple here, let's go all in and sacrifice it, even if it's a Sun Temple. Oh, it actually turned to Val City, which is not bad. I have to say the Val City layout is not the worst. Not the best, but still not the worst. So one aspect of this farming strategy using Jado, which I can definitely say it sucks, is the fact that Jado corrupts the map, and even if it does bring you an additional modifier, it kinda sucks because it unpredictably changes the layout, and for the most part the good layouts that you already have in the Val City maps are getting changed to something which is not great, and by doing so they lower the chances of you having spawned all the abyss pits with all the drop rates and all that. It's a very annoying trade-off for the state of the game. A divine and one echo, not bad so far, but not great. If we don't find at least one Omen of Light in this map, I can definitely say that this strategy is way better than what I've been catching on footage here in the 10 maps, because half of the maps at least were unlucky due to different factors, and I would hate to see that the final map actually is still unlucky. I'll probably do a bunch of other 10 map samples using this strategy moving forward, and I'll return with some conclusions if the strategy actually averages out better. This one is frozen but still can take damage. That's so annoying for the spinning flame slashers or whatever they're called. Okay, so unlucky drop of Omen right there still, but we are at the beginning of the map, so we'll see. I really do think that the average that guys are talking about online, on YouTube, on forums, from Reddit and so on, telling us that you average at around 10 to 12 Omen of Lights in a 10 map sample for this strategy actually is true, but we really got unlucky while trying to catch this on film, on video, with this 10 map sample, which didn't actually work out in the end with the drops. Sadly, this happens. But still, we'll take a look at the final profit, deduce the initial investment, and try to figure out if this strategy actually works out better than the one using Hilda. So far it's quite close, but I think I had more luck in the Hilda side than I did in this 10 map sample, and that wasn't lucky at all, so this was just really unlucky. But it shows real good potential. It really does. Another Omen drop, which is not Omen of Light. They might have gone extinct. Maybe there's no Omen of Lights on the server anymore. How would that fit in? Omen of Echoes. Omen of Light. At least we got one final Omen of Light. Jesus. The most prayed to Omen of Light in the 10 map cycles. As I was saying, not great. It could have been better. It should have been better. But yeah. No luck today. I'll just keep trying different other 10 map cycles for the exact same strategy, and probably I'll do an update video at some point comparing different sample sizes with different outcomes and see how much the strategy is consistent or not with the observations from the common knowledge of the internet regarding this popular strategy for Jado. I think Jado is the most RNG Atlas Master, so that's why we are seeing such a high difference in first 5 maps versus last 5 maps. The difference is insane, because by nature Jado is the most RNG dependent Atlas Master. Hilda is much more consistent. It limits the strategy to use different types of tablets, but still it's more consistent across the sample maps. What? I clicked by mistake into this shit. Loathsome Mire. I don't need that shit. Come on. You know what happens, guys, when you leave the map and go inside the perfect chaos. Oh, that's really cool. When you leave the map and go inside the abyssal depths or whatnot, lightless void and stuff like that, including the Loathsome Mire here, it actually cancels out all the modifiers your headhunter has stolen until that point, up to that point. So yeah, that's a huge debuff when you click by mistake on some other traveling point. But no worries, I can handle this. I'll have to turn back if the way here is shut, and it's not, apparently. Okay, I guess it is in this corner specifically. And this is the map boss area. Okay, we'll have to reach around to clear the rest of the abyss pits. Some simulacrums, come on. I'll use the checkpoint to return here, but firstly I would like to check the other side of the map for additional abyss pits. Some simulacrums. There they are. So this one is here. We'll wait for them to spawn. No Manamo influence, unlucky. Sure, why not? 2 divines in the same coffer. Yeah, that's luck wasted because we are hunting for Omen of Lights and our luck is turning us just divines. They mean nothing in the grand scheme of things. If you farm 100 maps, you'll see that the Omen of Light quickly outpaces the raw currency divine drops or stuff like that, up to the point in which some players don't actually pick up the divines anymore. That's how much difference in value is between Omen of Light and Chaos or divine drops. They prefer speed and just hunting for the Omen of Lights, and in a huge sample size that might actually pay out. But still, I enjoy picking up each and every currency. Okay, so this is the completed abyssal for the 10th map, and now let's return and symbolically kill the map boss, and then we'll go into the hideout and break down all the loot and profit we've been making in this 10 map sample. Okay. Some final exalts and some waystone, and that's about it, guys. That was it for the 10th map. Now let's see what we can see.
Here is for you.
These are our supplies.
This is bullshit.
Gold is useless to me.
This as
Take
well.
it.
Okay.
Go.
Now, this map we had 74 splinters stacked, 1 Omen of Light, so that's a total of 9. 8 Chaos, 1 Annul, 4 Divine, 1 Perfect Chaos, which means a lot actually. This means probably nothing. This also means nothing. Okay, so that's about it with the relevant item part. Okay, let's get rid of the other currencies. Okay, now let's get rid of the tablets here and extra items and waystones and stuff like that. Utility belt, why not? Okay, this I will sell.
Choose what a useful trade.
And now, this is the final part. This is the loot we've been dropping inside the 10 map sample with the strategy using Jado and 8 mod corrupted waystones. So I think we got unlucky towards the second part of the farm, really unlucky actually. So the total raw currency drop in divines is 41, which is not bad but not great. It could have been higher, like 50 or 60. Let's now see the chaos drops. So these are around 97 chaos. Let's turn them into divines. Chaos into divine. So 97 would mean maybe 9 divines. No, wait, 11, maybe 12. 12 is a bit low, 11 is a bit high. It's probably 11 and a half, something like this. So maybe I'll lower the chaos that we are using here to 92. That's closer to market value. 92 chaos is roughly
All right.
11
Your order is registered.
divines, and we still have 5 chaos left, which is over half of a divine. So yeah, Okay, let's try to sell the greater
Have
currencies.
an order?
Yeah, there you go. We got the exchange for the 11 divines. Now 3 of these are 1 divine, so not really of any value. One of these is actually 5.5 divines. I'll sell it for just 5 so we can quickly
I'll fill that in as soon as I can.
have a better estimate of divines. Okay, now let's see how many echoes we have. 34 echoes, which mean let's see guys, echoes. So 36 echoes and we have 44 will be around 10 divines, I'm guessing. Let's try to list them up for that. 34 echoes, like 10 divines. Let's see if they sell until we reach the other sell points. We have like some other stuff here. Let's see the simulacrum right now. Simulacrum. We have 4 of them, and that roughly translates to we can sell 4 of them for 14 divines
I'll
if
fill
we
that in
wait.
as soon as I can.
The trade for the echoes has gone through, so we got another 10. The Kulemax invitation is around 2.75. Let's sell it for 2 because we are cool dudes. We can actually sell this for 3, but we have to wait, so we don't. Simulacrum splinters, 95 per 1 divine. That's a good price.
I'll post it
We are
right
selling
away.
these as well. Let's sell the preserved cranium. We checked this earlier and it was 14 divines. Now the price dropped. I will sell this for 14 and count it as
Alright, your
14
order
because
is
this actually
registered.
sells quite often for 14. It depends on the market range, and we compromised at a lot of different places here in our let's say disadvantage. Let's check the 9 omen of lights. So we have omen of lights. So the price is lower here, is like it's like 13 divines at the moment, but it will actually grow to 14 divines. But I'll do the quick calculation here with just 13 divines per omen. That means around 177. So I'll break it down here because I'm not selling those, I'm just stacking them because they increase in value. So 117 divines would be the profit from the omen of lights, the 9 omen of lights here. But I'm not selling them, I'm just stashing them. Okay, let's quickly check the price from the annul. We have 7 annul. This actually devalued as well, so we can get around, let's say 4.5 3.5 divines, because if we are selling just for 3 divines we are getting less from this trade as we did for most trades. So this might actually be valued at some point. I'll try to sell these 7 for
Let's see if there
about
are any
4
takers.
divines, and I'll write them down. 4 divines from 7 annuls. They will sell. Okay, let's try to see the price for the perfect jewelers. So again, we have 4 jewelers, but just 275 for 1 divine, but they can go for the price of 4 jewelers and turn them into 2
I'll
divines.
post it right away.
This will be a good offering at the current market offer ratio. We'll have to wait for these to sell, but it's not impossible. It will. Let's check out the remaining stuff. Okay, so Visions of Paradise. and the grand project.
Have an order?
It really does depend on the current market value. So this is 5.5 divines at the current
Have
price.
an order?
I'll try to sell it for 5 divines in loss of profit because I'm willing
Someone is
to
bound to
sell
buy
it
that.
quicker, but the grand project here is 8.5 divines. So this would actually mean I can sell it translated into exalts, but actually sell it quicker for just 8 divines.
I'll do
So
what I
I'm
can
still
to
losing
sell it
half
for
of
you.
a divine here and half of a divine here. So that's 1 divine in profit loss because I'm just trying to sell them as quickly as possible.
What's new?
But yeah, we are losing divines here,
Oh,
guys.
it's you.
So when you are going to tell me in the comment section that the profit was calculated differently, it's not. It's actually in loss of profit. So we have 8 divines here losing something and 5 divines here. Okay, I wrote those down. And now let's see what remains. Heart of the Well diamond, which doesn't mean actually anything this league. So far into the game they drop quite often. And we still have the Unforeseen Consequences tablet, which is valued at around 2.7 divines or 900 exalts. Let's approximate at least this one to 3 divines. And I'm not selling this because I'll be using it, but it's worth just about that. So the remaining, let's say, Greater Chaos Orb with some 5 Chaos Orbs are roughly about 1 divine stacked together, and the other stuff I won't even count anymore. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stacks of divines, so that's 70 divines from what we've already sold, 117 divines from the Omen of Light drop, the 9 Omen of Light, and the rest of them, let me quick check. It's 9 with 17, 21 divines. So another 21 divines for our other listings. That means 91 plus 117, it's 8, 208, 208 total divine profit. And the initial investment, let's also do that. The initial investment, let me grab a notepad here so you can see, so I'm not just talking to myself, so we can follow along. So we had 70 divines already sold stuff, mostly raw currency. We have 117 divines selling 9 Omen of Light at a low price because they can reach 14 divines at any moment of the day. And we also have 21 divines other listings waiting, which will sell. That results total value, it's 208 divines, which is a good profit, I would say, off of 10 maps. 10 maps. And the initial investment, let's talk about that. So we spent 82 divines for the 3 Abyss tablets. It was 30, 30 and 22, right? You can see that at the beginning of the video when I bought them. We are also spending around 1.1k exalts in divines. Let's quickly check that. How much is that worth in divine exactly? So one divine is 40. Let's check how much is. So 3 divine is actually around this much exalt, 1200. So let's say, let's approximate again to our disadvantage that we are getting a higher cost for the unforeseen consequences tablets. So let's say 3 divines per tablet, or we are using 10 tablets, 10 unforeseen, 16 additional abysses are worth at current market price 30 divines. And we also got the Waystones, which are mostly bought for 3 divines each, but we also had 3 when we got them at 2 divines. So that's 27 divines for 10 Waystones, 8 mods. Okay, now let's add these together. So it's 109 and 30, 139. Total investment 139. That means net profit, let me quickly check, 208 minus 139, not a lot, it's just 69 divines profit in 10 maps. But again, I think we got really unlucky with the omen drops. And yeah, the initial cost of this strategy is higher than other strategies, which means that we are not getting the returns if we get unlucky. And later on, if we use a higher sample size, maybe we can get lucky and make a bunch of profit. But keep in mind that this strategy is also a bit faster, I guess, and a bit less hard than the one using Hilda, so it might actually be a lower profit point so far in this unlucky 10 maps sample, but it's still a good chunk of profit for easier gameplay, for lower point builds which do not have to simply be overpowered and have all the high-end gear to do this strategy. This is a more accessible strategy with a lower margin of profit if you get unlucky in the 10 map samples, because it has a higher total investment initially. But I think if you translate this to 10 different 10 map samples, you can probably round up this profit even higher, because the last 5 maps in our 10 map samples were really unlucky and just dropped 1 or 2 moment of lights, which shouldn't supposed to happen statistically. But yeah, that's just the RNG of the game, so it happened to us this time. But probably if we farm another 10 maps using this strategy, the profits will go up and will even out this small net profit of just 69 divines per 10 maps. But anyway, the strategy was really nice, it was really easy to follow, easy to farm, very fun, and I will keep farming this because it shows a lot of potential, and I really wanna check out if the profit it's still the same low level as it is in comparison with to the Hilda strategy that I've been showcasing, or it still has a good chance of raising the profits up until we can actually get a sense of the strategy and see that the sample size that we've been capturing here was just simply unlucky, and maybe the strategy is more profitable than we can deduce from this sample size. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the yeah, we are selling the profits here from the tablets. As I was saying, they will quickly sell. I hope you guys enjoyed this sample size for this strategy. I'm again ensuring you that maybe the profit was a bit underwhelming and not all that great, but I think it had a good chunk of unlucky streak of 5 maps towards the end, and if it wasn't for those maps it would be actually more profitable than the one using Hilda. I'm still not clear on which one is better, because this shows a lot of promise and that one shows more consistency, so I will have to sample size a lot for this strategy to actually come with a better conclusion if the profit is higher or lower. Still a fun strategy, something you can try out for yourself. Maybe leave me in the comment section what were your results using this strategy or something comparable, and I'll try to keep that in mind and probably adapt my strategy for the Abyss in this league, so we can find out which fine-tuning of these strategies work better at different entry points, different investment points. That's my main goal here. If you find any of this information useful, please leave a like, a comment, and probably a subscribe if you like. Follow more, and thank you for watching and have a good time. See you in another video. Bye.